I'm here at Porsche Brooklands. Mike's about to bring my car in. They're giving me access to the garage. Great bunch of people down here. I really feel like I'm home when I come here. Speaking of my car, here she comes. I didn't know you could do that, so you can, there's a little clip there on the wing mirror.
Yeah, so there's a clip, as you fold the wing mirror back, there's this little clip, yellow clip. So
you know what?
Flick that across.
Oh man, I didn't even know the wing mirror could fold. It's cold, it's wet, it's windy. Yes, it must be winter in the UK. And it's time for a free checkup at Porsche Brooklands. They've invited me down for a winter checkup. I went last year. They detected that the rear exhaust clamps were on their way out, so we got that replaced. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's see, we'll try and get inside the garage and follow Mike doing the checkup on the car. So if you wanted to check over your car at home, maybe you could try and do a few of the things that Mike goes over. And a special favour for you guys, over the winter months, if you find any videos on the playlists on this channel that you like and you haven't given it a thumbs up before, if you could please give it a thumbs up. What I'm trying to do is expand the reach of this channel, because I'm so fortunate that luckily recently somebody from Switzerland reached out to me. They're taking delivery of a 718 GT4 literally next week. I'm hoping to feature some of their content on this channel. If this guy had not reached out to me through the channel, I would have never had the opportunity to bring you his 718 GT4. So by widening the reach of this channel, I want to try and reach more people out there. If you're bored and cold over Christmas or the holiday season, go through the Cayman playlist. I've got a lot of videos here. There's a Porsche Tech playlist which is featuring Mike down at Porsche Brooklands. Go through the videos. If you like any video, obviously don't thumbs up a video that you don't like. That would just be unfair and not even worth it. But if you like a video, I know I don't make a big point of asking you to thumbs up these videos, but I guess what I want to try and do is expand the reach of the channel. So it's not really for me, it's about all of us. I'm so excited to feature this 718 GT4 on this channel. That is the car, man. I'm warming to it. I'm really warming to it. I know I like the 981 GT4, but being able to spec my own GT4, that's got to be something special, very special. So yeah, I've spoken way too much. Join Life and Cars to the Max winter checkup down at Porsche Brooklands. And by the way, if you're watching Porsche Brooklands, we've got a whole bag of donuts down here, big bag of jam donuts, fresh from our local bakery. I hope you enjoy them. You're getting a bit of a following, Mike. There's a lot of people saying, oh yeah, you know, Mike's a really decent guy, knowledgeable. How's the fame getting to you?
Yeah, well, I haven't got people stopping me in the street yet, so we're alright.
Alright. I've cleaned out the rads myself with a torch and a ruler and a bit of sellotape. Right. So what are you generally looking for here?
What we normally do is we go over the car, we're going to check the suspension components. If you look up here, we're checking all the suspension parts. Some of these parts we'd have seen in the video before, and we did the coolant pipes, and we dismantled and reassembled a lot of these parts. So you're checking things like your brake lines, make sure they haven't got caught or something wrapped around them. Metal brake pipes for corrosion. We're also going through dust covers on joints, just to make sure they haven't split. Right. Once they split, then the lubricating grease inside can come out, but also dirt will get in, and it'll just cause them to wear quicker. Also, if those boots are split, it's an MOT failure in the UK.
Oh, right.
So things like that, and just general, make sure everything's secure and nothing's coming loose, which is, you don't get very often, very rarely. There's a slight, you can see on this interface of your disc here, you've got a very slight build up of corrosion. just here on this very arrow. Nothing to worry about at the moment.
Is that on the outer edge?
Yeah, see just at this bottom edge here. See, it's a slightly different colour to this part here.
But isn't that bound to happen because the pad never touches that part?
Yeah, it does happen to a point, but sometimes what will happen is it will kind of start creeping in further and further eventually because it starts making the surface of the disc less and less flat. So, but that will take ages and ages. So this will be fine for now. It's not really safety. It's more it just could cause you brake noise when you're braking. But as regards to safety side of it, they'll be fine. Unless you're planning on any track days, then maybe worth getting them done.
No, not yet anyway.
Across the middle of the car isn't really much you can check because most of it's covered by plastic. So providing the plastic isn't damaged, then nothing underneath should be damaged. So it should be all okay. So common things that you really want to check around the rear end of the engine are heat shields here. These cover your spark plugs which are buried up there. Sometimes these corrode and come loose and can vibrate, so you just want to check they haven't rusted through. Sorry. And then things around here, like these plastic coolant pipes, similar to the front kind of situation, can start to corrode, and then where they warp, they leak. So just check for any signs of coolant loss around there, any staining, but yours is all fine. This has to be expected.
Is that white powdery thing there when they try to put a bit of an oil leak detector?
That is the leak detector. So yeah, so you can use it for all sorts of stuff. Essentially it's spray on talcum powder.
Oh right, okay.
That's basically what it is. I'm surprised it stayed on as long as it has. Normally once you start getting road water off onto them, it starts washing it off.
Okay.
But it will last a few months. It's one of the easier ways of finding oil leaks. If you do a good job at the first place of cleaning up and spraying that on, you should be able to find a leak pretty quick.
Okay.
It's good stuff. So on the rear suspension, similar to the front, you're going to be checking your ball joints and things for play, bushes for wear. Also just check your CV gator joints here, these boots, just make sure these haven't split, otherwise they can leak grease. Then cause the joint to fail. So I know this car so well now that I know the only upcoming maintenance you're going to have. So you've had these exhaust clamps done. But if you look up here, these are called your exhaust triangle flanges. And this is what joins the catalytic converter of the exhaust to the downpipe, and the fixing nuts on the top corrode and they start to disintegrate. When they split, this causes this joint to leak because they spread apart. There's no clamping force left. So at some point you're going to have to think about replacing these.
Just the bolts?
Just the bolts, yeah. So what we can do is we can remove this original factory studs out from the cat, so you don't have to replace the catalytic converter. And then we'll re-bolt it with genuine nuts and bolts, but it'll be re-bolted and secure. But maybe that'd be an excuse for a sports exhaust upgrade. Well,
I was going to say that's. I think you've quoted me £2,500 because it's a switchable PSC, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends what you get. I mean, there's so many genuine ones. Yes, there's obviously non-genuine. When you start getting into the realms of that, you need to do a bit of research because we've fitted genuine and non-genuine. Depending what the customer wants, and varying different levels. And the noise output, sometimes customers have only had them on a week and then we take them back off because they're too loud.
Really?
So it's definitely, if you're thinking of changing the exhaust on a Porsche, do a lot of research about it, especially on your noise levels, because you'd be surprised and you're found fantastic for a week, and then after that it's too much.
So you recommend go switchable if I can then,
Yeah, switchable's the best because then you get the best of both worlds.
And you can do that on the 987, can't you? Because it's got the wiring loom, is that right? For the
So most of them have the wiring looms, or if not then we wire them in depending on how the kit comes. There's also aftermarket switchable ones you can get. We've fitted them before. Also they can be relatively good. But it all depends on price, budget, and what you want out of it really.
So if there's anyone out there that's got a free switchable Porsche exhaust for a 987 Gen 2 from a manufacturer that wants to sponsor me, I'll gladly accept it, and Mike will fit it, and I'll pay the fitting charges.
So yeah, so everything's all looking good back in. Just quickly run through these tyres quick, just to make sure, as you've been to Wales. So when you're checking tyres, you just want to check the inner edge to make sure you've got no bulges or defects in the sidewall of the tyre and no damage to the wheel rim itself. It'd be surprising how much damage you can get from potholes on the inside. So check that first. Then generally check your tread for depth, and then obviously any nails or screws that you've got in it. This one's looking pretty good. And then finally you want to just check the outside the same as you check the inside edge. Make sure you've got no bulges, or any significant damage to the rim itself. So that one's perfect. That one's good as well. So
good stuff.
perfect.
I mean, I know we're not going to take the under trays off, but if you were to remove the under tray, what's the order in which you start removing the screws from? And which pieces come off first?
Okay, so on this one, they're all varying types, but essentially, if you was going to take it off of this Cayman, you'd start with these side ones here in order. So you'd go the two sides, then the middle, and then you can get, and then this front one would come off.
Okay.
You can get this front one off without, if you just loosen all these front ones, you can get this front one off. But usually, what happens is it causes this to snap here.
Yeah. That's probably what someone's tried to do. Someone's probably tried to take this one off without doing them in sequence.
That's it. Sometimes if it's an older car and a higher mileage car, sometimes you're better off, if you can avoid undoing as little as possible on these, then don't, because sometimes the studs themselves snap off the bottoms of the car when you undo them, and then you've got a repair job on your hand after that. They are only plastic nuts, but it's surprising how tight when the stud itself rusts and expands, that then it causes that stuff to break off the bottom of the car, and then you're going to have to do some kind of repair. So my rule of thumb is usually I'll normally try and just take off minimal to cause less potential damage, especially if it looks like a car that has seen a lot of wet weather. Then you could, even before you know it, you could have every single one on the floor and no way of putting them back on.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Well, brilliant, there you go. So the car's in good shape.
Yeah, just have a quick flick around the brakes.
Alright.
Fix the suspension, we'll have a quick look at those pipes that we fixed last time. I'm sure they'll be fine.
You're just looking for any play, yeah?
Yeah, so when you check, you shouldn't feel any play at all. Be all completely solid, or all the ball joints are holding it together. If you do find any play, it could be a varying number of things, either a suspension ball joint or the wheel bearing itself.
I meant to say, after you did the wheel alignment, it's all back in line.
Yeah,
so
you like it.
You know what? On paper, it was such a small difference, but you could definitely feel it.
Good.
Definitely. So.
Good, I'm glad. So yeah, I mean the only normal suspension where you get on the rear of these, depending on the mileage, sometimes this arm here, the ball joint can go on this rear trailing arm here. So, but overall, suspension's pretty good on them really.
Those are new coolant hoses. Well, not so new anymore, but there we go.
Okay. The only other little maintenance things you want to keep an eye on is that's underneath here. So this is the suspension strut. Yep. This is the bump stop here, and then you've got the gaiter for the damper here, which just helps stop that road dirt getting into the damper itself. And what can happen, this is applicable to Caymans and 911s, is that these collars here actually rust through, and it's where the bump stop holds the water against it, and they start to rust.
Oh wow, so there's a bit there, isn't there?
Yeah, so that's very minor, minor surface rust. I wouldn't even worry about it at all. Only things you can do to try and prolong the life of this is just occasionally put a small amount of grease around this part here, and that will help obviously resist the water.
Okay.
So that one's okay. Anything in here looks happy.
I still need this car to last about another 10 years. So I don't think
so you can see this one's slightly more.
Yeah.
Still not. You see it in there?
Yeah.
So see how this one's rust has actually crept down a little bit more, and this top collar is actually separate, and it stops this damper from travelling through the top mount as the suspension's moving up and down. So if this was to break through from rust, essentially your damper can start moving up and down inside the top mount, whereas it should be fixed solid. But you'd know about it very, very early on because it'd be very loud as you're driving along. But this one, even though this one looks quite a bit worse, it's still acceptable and perfectly safe. So if we was to put a bit of grease on this will prolong the life of it.
Have you got a bit of grease?
I can do that for you.
Cool,
Right
fantastic.
now. So yeah, that just helps prolongs the life of them, life of the damper.
Great service at Porsche Brooklands, look at that.
All looking good. Looks good.
And for what it's worth, I know people sort of say, oh, why do I sort of pay the prices for servicing at Porsche Brooklands? Well, this hasn't cost me anything, and I don't think it will. And it's that level of care, just keeping on top of your car. I haven't got a ramp at home, keeping on top of these dampers, getting a bit of grease, and it's prolonging the life of my car. So this is exactly why I do this.
There's plenty of life left in your brake pads. Nothing to worry about. Okay. Once I put on those dampers, and then
Right. This is probably something you could do at home. I didn't even know about this, but just
yeah, the only thing you might need to do is jack the car up just to help drop the suspension a little bit.
Okay.
You might be able to do it on the floor. It'll be a bit more difficult because as you get the weight of the car, the spring will compress. All of this will just come up very slightly, so it'll make the gap a bit tighter.
just normal sort of grease you use, like Castrol stuff.
Yeah, you can use normal grease, or you can use, if you've got any, which I'm looking for now, is preservation wax.
Okay.
Anything really that will just repel the water. This is special engine grease.
Oh, okay, that was it. Right. That kind of damper, you said there's a little, that ring nut or that washer above it.
Yeah.
And then how much further above into the suspension turret does that go?
So that goes, I could show you in a minute actually. I'll show you.
Because you know you said that,
for me to show you.
You said that I'd notice if it went wrong. Would it just go, it would just shoot all the way up?
Yeah, so it's about here under the front bonnet. Right. I'll show you.
Yeah, I think when I did wheel alignment, wheels in motion, they were messing about up there as well.
Yeah, because that's the camber adjustment point on these, that's why. So, right, there we go. Just a little bit of grease on there.
Fantastic.
You didn't even know it's there. And then all you got to do is just slide your bump stop back up on top of it. And that'll be good. If you did that yearly, you'd be fine.
Wow. It doesn't have to be done at the rear, does it?
No.
Okay.
No, the rears don't really suffer with it usually.
Okay.
Only ever the fronts. Just get that sponge and bucket out.
Yeah, I know. I haven't washed it since the Wales trip, so it's just haven't really had the time, to be fair. It's a bit of a, it's a funny one. That is. There you go.
Just there. That's where it comes through. So you've got a big nut in the middle underneath that cover, and that's the part that would move up and down.
So if that snapped, it would be popping up through there?
Yeah, it wouldn't come all the way up, but you would hear it chattering inside the mount.
Right.
So, and then you know straight away there's something's wrong.
There you go. That's good. I've never taken the side ones off. I always wanted to do a bit of cleaning under there, so that just lifts off.
Yeah, they just lift off. Just got some hooks in the back there.
Okay, cool.
That you just hook in. You have to take this one off first.
Yes, yeah, I've taken that one off. That's why it's nice and clean under there.
Yeah, with a lovely Velcro. And then that's it. And then your cabin filter's under there.
Okay.
Which we do as part of the service. So that's hidden under there.
Oh, brilliant.
It is good to try and keep this area clean, because sometimes if they fill up with water it can cause damage inside the car. And then it's the same on the other side, you just pop them up. Just pop this one off and just lift this up. Just like that. There you go, it's all very clean in there.
Well, not clean enough, we'll have to let's just try and find a dry weekend now.
Yeah, we haven't got many of them for a while.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's it, yeah?
That's it.
Fantastic. car's been checked over. I'm glad to know it's in good condition. It's a good thing we've got a bit of grease on those dampers. It's good to see the bit, well, not good to see the rust there, but at least I know now I can try and keep it on top of that. And as you know, I've got that safe jack, so I should be able to lift up the front wheels, slip those collars down and put a bit of grease on there. So do that at home on your car if you can, and enjoy life in cars to the max. Thanks, Mike. You're going to be really famous. You're going to get Porsche garages from across the world saying, "We want Mike in our dealership." Would you relocate to the US, Mike?
No.
No. Okay. So that's half the audience of this channel gone. Okay. Well.
I like England.
Yeah, it's good weather at the moment, isn't it?
Can't beat the weather.
Yeah. Right, I'm switching off now. Thanks to Mike for sharing his insight with us. It's always a pleasure coming down here. We're going to go grab a coffee now, and yeah, enjoying life in cars to the max. Hope you like this video. And as I've said, I don't normally ask for thumbs up. If you enjoy the video or the content of this video, give us a thumbs up. So I'm trying to what the YouTube algorithm will do. It'll kind of like send it out to a few more people that are interested in Porsche Caymans or Porsche cars in general. And I'll try and get a wider subscriber base here. And the more people that follow this channel and share stuff with me, the more I can share with you. As I said, we've got an owner for the 718 GT4 in Switzerland. We're going to bring you some content from him. Can't wait to bring you that stuff. Yeah, enjoying life in cars to the max. See ya.